Thank you for tuning in to Acoustic Chef Podcast with D. Will, Capel, Ebony, and Regina. You can expect to receive new content every Monday. Check us out while you're working out, on your way to work, or on your drive home. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Smart.
Real smart. Yeah.
A broken clock is right twice a day. They go your one. You got one more for the day. All right.
So what
Welcome
about
to acoustic?
What about
Yeah,
your clock? If the batteries is low, I don't think it's ever right. You know what I'm saying? So at least I'm right twice a day.
I give you that one. Touche. Oh, let's move on.
So there go my two. Let's go.
That mean it's gonna be a long day for you. You wasted them.
Lord.
Welcome to Acoustic Chef. Shit, I can't even get my words right. It got me.
Welcome to Acoustic Chef. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is your boy D. Will.
This is your girl Ebony.
This is Regina.
I thought we was doing boy, girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's try that again.
Nah, let's keep that because I want to add in the broken clock shit at the beginning. You need to have that in there too.
It's all good. Man, what's going on?
How y'all doing?
We're doing good. How are y'all? How's y'all's week?
Ooh, man, it's been
a long week.
Yeah, it has been. It's been crazy.
A
long week.
Yeah, school just got back in, and everybody in the building, and we got a little bit of it's crazy. We got clarity. I've never had so many instructions given to me and still be so confused at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like normally when you get to instructions, you're like, okay, I understand what's gonna happen. I might like it, I might not like it, but at least I know how it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell has happened.
It's all COVID related.
Yeah, it's all because of COVID and how we have to, do safety precautions and all that. I'm so confused. But it is what it is.
So
we back in the building.
What is your district doing? What are you? Are they going to be virtual at first?
Yeah, first 2 weeks going to be virtual, and then after Labor Day, students that opted to come face to face are going to show up, and students that are not face to face are going to they're going to continue doing virtual.
If so you had to put go ahead.
No, well, I have a question about that. Like I had to make the decision for my kids in our district, and so if I say that they're going to do virtual, that's the choice I have to make for the entire semester. But if I say that they're going to be physical, then I can kind of change my mind. I guess I just don't see how, I don't know. Do you know like the percentage of your kids that are supposed to be coming back? And like, can the parents change their mind?
Right now we got, so for us, just the parents can change their mind after every quarter. So after every 9 weeks, if you're doing virtual, you have the right to say, okay, I want my child to go to school now. But it's so every night at the end of every 9 weeks to have that opportunity to do that. And right now we're at about 70% of our kids who've completed the forms, and out of that 70%, 30% of those kids parents want them to come face to face.
Yeah.
And 70% want them to do virtual. So we're still about 310 students that have not, or parents that have not completed the form. So at this point, we got about 300 kids that will be coming face to face. But those parents that don't fill out the form, more than likely, those are the parents that's going to have their kids show up at school the first day. So,
yeah,
they still getting forms filled out, but those are our numbers right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Did y'all see them kids in like Georgia? I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, they went to school and it was madness, and then a couple of the kids like posted pictures.
They got suspended.
Yeah, they got suspended. It was a bunch of kids that didn't have their mask on, and they like congested, looked like sardines and stuff in the hallway.
Yeah, jam-packed, like normal.
Exactly what we knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, and then we had one 7-year-old in Georgia that died, no pre-existing conditions. So known pre-existing conditions. So
like they went to school or just
went to school. Went to school, I believe. I don't know. We may have to Google it, but yeah. But they announced that yesterday. So I believe it's school related.
Wow. So
That's sad.
basically these kids gonna be like guinea pigs, like we running an experiment or something like that.
Pretty much.
That's what it sounds like. That's unfortunate.
And that's ridiculous.
That is. Hey, before we kick off the show, man, I wanted to like for Alexandria, Louisiana, man, my guys, David Williams is running for District 9 judge, and Reddix Washington is running for City Council District 1. And I think for everybody in Rapides Parish and Alexandria especially, man, y'all need to go out and support these guys. I vouch for them. You know what I'm saying? They good guys or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We always talk about change and wanting, change to happen. This is change, like right here, right now. I vouch for both of those guys. They solid dudes. I went to school with both of them. You know what I'm saying? And I know that they have the best interests of the community at heart with whatever decisions that they making. You know what I'm saying? So y'all need to definitely get out there and vote for David Williams and Reddix Washington. I know most of y'all know both of those guys, and y'all know that they solid dudes, so we need to support them.
Yeah, I know both of those cats too, man. I went to school with David. He a solid dude, and I know Reddix just from around the way. But he pretty cool too. So, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are now, but I know some years ago, I mean, within 10 years, African Americans became the majority in Alexandria. And if that's still the case, we can single-handedly vote them in. So, yeah, if y'all listening, you in Alexandria, make sure you register to vote. I'm not telling you to vote for them just because they black, but if you're voting and you're looking for change, you definitely need to do your due diligence and make sure you vote for people that's going to do right by y'all and get them in office. So,
hey, bro, that's crazy, bro. Like to me, like growing up in the A, you could definitely see the racial divide because we lived in a black neighborhood. I didn't really realize it growing up. I was just naive to the fact that there was a divide or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because we went to school with white folks too, you know what I'm saying? Like we went all the way to Tioga and Pineville and all of that type of stuff to go to school. And some of those white people from over there went to school with us. So I really I wasn't like honed in on the divide, you know what I'm saying? Because I really didn't even see racism, honestly, until I grew up and started going to court and dealing with police and stuff like that.
I definitely saw it. You was sheltered, dude. No, I'm just playing. But now I saw it because I played sports. Yeah. And I went to my friends' houses and stuff like that. I played sports with white boys, and I would see the difference in how they was living compared to how I was living and how my family was living. And it was clear that something was not right for us. They would have pool parties like at the end of the year. Their parents would sponsor parties. Remember, we had put golfing games. They would sponsor parties and stuff, and they would pay for it. And it was very, very evident. You're right though, but if you went to school, I went to school with the same people, my whole life until I got to Peabody, and I would have never known how they was living if I just went to school with them.
I mean, that part, you know what I'm saying? I understand the divide because of the economic divide, but I'm talking about as far as like racism in general. I didn't really grow up seeing that, you know what I'm saying, out there.
I think a lot of people, because what racism looks like is different for a lot of people. I know many people that say, I've never seen racism because they're waiting on someone to call them a nigger or to follow them around the store. But it's like when I was growing up, I was born in Oklahoma City because my mom worked out there. So I started like preschool, predominantly white area. So as a 3-year-old, I didn't know it was called racism. But when I look back at it, there were things that I was made to do or toys that I was blamed for stealing, where, recess that I couldn't go to, when I was doing the same thing as the other kids. I remember one time, there were some biscuits at lunch that nobody wanted to eat. They gave us biscuits and juice, something like that. So we would all put our biscuits at the bottom of the juice cup and then put our napkins over it because we didn't want to eat it. It was disgusting to us. And I remember a teacher taking it out of the trash can and making me sit there and eat it. None of the other kids had to do that. She didn't check the other kids. But as a little girl, I'm not going to think of that. But now when I look back at it, but I think like my elementary experience, I moved to Houston. I went to predominantly black, not predominantly black, it was all black. But when I look back at it, you just think about the systemic racism, like even like the books, the textbooks we had in school. When we did get textbooks, which we didn't always have, we didn't even have room on the book, the front cover, to even sign our name anymore because they had already been used because we got the leftover books from the old editions from the white schools. There was one time, and you can actually look this up, I was on 2020. Our school was blamed for cheating on the National Standardized Test. I think it was called TAS at the time.
Yeah.
So they had us take the test over, and we all excelled and achieved, but we just had great teachers, you know. So it's just like little things like that that we don't see because people aren't saying, you know, get out of here. You're still get out of here, nigger. But it's definitely some subtle racism, and also in our policies and procedures.
Well, see, most definitely. See, I can see in retrospect, looking back, I see certain things from a different perspective. But at the time, going through it, like it was just business as usual. You know what I'm saying? Like when we got to high school, we both went to all black high school, and like I said, we stayed in 100% black neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But going through it, I wasn't looking at it like, oh, they over here, we over there. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't, that mentality wasn't like, you know, pushed onto us and stuff like that to even think like that or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I think I definitely thought like that because I recognized the differences in what was going on where I live versus where my white counterparts lived. But I also felt like a token, I guess, because I was always the only black kid here or the only black kid there. And so it was fascinating to them. My hair was fascinating. Oh, let me touch your hair. Let me do this. And I was just like, oh, okay, girl. You know, I went to their slumber parties. I went to their horseback riding parties, like all of these things they did that I would never, ever do as a child. And I didn't see anything. I just, oh, you know, I'm smart like they are, so I get to participate. But it was more of we have a black friend and she's gonna come over to our house. When I look back on it now, and I'm still friends with some of them to this day, but back then I was more of a novelty than like a real friend to them because, you know, my parents could definitely not afford to do some of the things that their parents did for them, those pool parties and, you know.
Yeah.
So you was that friend when they was like, what do you mean? My best friend is black. You was that black best friend.
Yes, I was the black friend. I was at all of the parties and, you know, I participated in everything. And when they went and got in the pool and then they just, you know, washed their hair and let it air dry, I couldn't do that. I was like, I got to go home. My mom has to do something to my hair.
Straight up.
They didn't understand.
What do y'all think about, did y'all see, so Kanye is pretty much, he's not denying the fact that he's trying to siphon the black vote. Did y'all see that?
I saw that, and you know, so first of all, I'm tired of wasting my comments on Kanye, and not for you to not say anything about it. It's just like I'm tired of his name in the news. I'm tired of, you know, but it is something that we need to talk about because if he does end up getting on some ballots, because I read that article, and if he ends up getting on ballots, he definitely can you know, change the trajectory of votes in some of those places.
Right.
So it's definitely worth us having conversations about. But you know, this is the thing, whether he's admitting to siphoning the black vote because he's doing it to help Trump on purpose, or whether he's admitting to siphoning the black vote because he feels that I'm voting and these people believe in me, is wrong. I mean, it's not, it's dangerous. It's not going to help, you know, and I don't care if his reasoning is I'm running and these people are voting for me because they believe in me. You know, he what he's doing is not helpful to the cause.
Nah, he has an agenda. You know what I'm saying?
I know he has an agenda. I'm just saying either way, it don't matter. Like I don't see him no different regardless of what his reasoning is.
Yeah.
The fact that he's siphoning the black vote and he's okay with it, I mean, it pisses me off.
The fact I don't like I try not to even care about that type of stuff or whatever, but the dude is saying, like, all right, he calls himself a free thinker. You know what I'm saying? Just like Candace Owens calls herself a free thinker, just like Jason Riley calls herself a free thinker, just like Jason Whitlock, just like that stupid sheriff dude, and all of these other people feel like they're free thinkers. But how are you a free thinker if you're thinking just like somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Angela Stratton, Candace Owens, y'all got the same exact talking points. You know what I'm saying?
You know what free thinkers do? Free thinkers listen to other people and other views, and then they come up with what they truly believe in. Free thinkers recognize cause and effect. Free thinkers understand how, this action is going to affect this group of people. If I truly care about this group of people, then this is something that I probably shouldn't be a part of, or I shouldn't support. Free thinkers go through several different modes of communication and thought process before they make decisions.
Exactly.
So they're not free thinkers. They're puppets.
Yeah, they're definitely puppets. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with personally, but for the better good, it's not something that I definitely think should be policy that's pushed out on everybody. There's a lot of people that are making, this whole election about, abortion or what I'm doing for Black people. It's just so monolithic. Like, there's one thing that people are gravitating to, and now this is what the election's about. When there's, there's many little tiny pieces that go into the bigger picture. And, it's just irritating. It's very upsetting, because I know that many of our young voters are looking at Kanye, regardless of the reason, just because they feel like they're being different. I can't stand, I think Capel said this before about when people claim that they're so woke. So that's the same thing. And I think when people say they're free thinking, like, how about you get your mind right, right? Like, let's get mentally healthy before we start saying we think free, because you can't think free if your mind is held captive.
You can't think freely if I gave you the philosophy. If I gave you the ideology, that's not a free thought.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, all right, Janari Ricks, I think she was a little 9-year-old boy was playing outside at the park in Chicago, and he was murdered as a result of a guy walking up and shooting at another guy or whatnot, just shooting at a crowd of dudes. You know what I'm saying? So this little kid was murdered, but the community stepped up in this community in Chicago. I think it's on the south side. I can't remember I forgot the name of that community or whatever. But the community stepped up, ended up getting the guy that did that arrested or whatnot. And I thought that was a big step for the people of Chicago.
You're right, it is a big step, but it shows that, people are not using Chicago the way that it should be used, because that should be on front page. If all the murders on front page, then the community stepping in and participating in the arrest of a murderer of a child should be on the front page. They had no problem putting it on the front page when those kids was murdered during the 4th of July weekend.
Straight up.
So put it on the front page that we caught the people that did it, and that the community is the ones that brought them in. But yeah, that is huge news. And, I don't know if you put that in the Telegram, because I didn't get a chance to see all the messages, but send that to me, because I would like to push that out and put it on my social media, just to do my part to try to spread that, because that's news that people need to see.
Yeah, that's what it is. I got more. Unless y'all got something else. I got plenty of stuff to talk about.
I'll chime in a minute. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So, another something that you talked about, Ebony, and I right now I'm just kind of conjuring up some of our old podcasts and stuff like that. You was talking about your coworker that has like a bunch of land and stuff like that or whatever.
Yes,
this white guy.
Yes.
So, that I have the same story or whatever with this other guy. You know what I'm saying? As most people know, I have a trucking business and stuff like that. So sometimes I have to go out and meet drivers, all this different type of stuff. So I end up taking a bunch of Ubers, going back home and going to pick up trucks, all that type of stuff. So I met this guy like maybe about a couple of weeks ago, and he was an older white man, probably in his 60s or something like that. And we was just running it, just chopping it up. And he was telling me about his dad, how I want to say it was the 50s or the 60s or something like that. He was able to purchase, they moved from Tennessee to Cali, like to some beach town or whatever. And they purchased their first home for like $9,000, like back in the 50s or 60s or something like that or whatever. And then maybe 20, 30 years later, that house was they sold it for like maybe $400,000. And then they purchased their second home, because they was renting that one out. They purchased their second home maybe in the late 60s or something like that for maybe another maybe $10,000-$15,000 or whatever, and sold that home for like $1 million almost, like 900 some thousand. And they got maybe 100 some thousand acres of land back in Tennessee. That's when we talk about the economic uh dichotomy and stuff like that or whatever. That's exactly what we talking about. We don't have our great grandparents and grandparents and stuff like that didn't have those opportunities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we came out of slavery, then had to endure Jim Crow, they cut off the Homestead Agreement, the Homestead Act, and all of that type of stuff or whatever. And it was like, you know what? Okay, y'all can make some money, y'all can do y'all thing, but guess what? Inflation happened. So
Yeah.
the same house that was purchased for $9,000 in the 50s, maybe 10 years later, when we came out of those situations, 10 to 20 years later, those same houses are like now $50,000-$60,000.
Right.
But the amount of money that the guy wasn't making no more than like maybe $2 to $3 an hour. But back then, that was enough money for him to handle his business and stuff like that. Let's say he making $400 a month. That was good money back then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we was able to make the same $400 a month, which we weren't, it would have been more like $250 or something like that. The housing market had gone up. The cost of bread, you know what I'm saying?
Taxes,
fuel, everything. So we don't have the same opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we talk about.
Yeah. And I it's funny that you bring that up. So I have this quote about real estate. Winston Churchill said, "Land monopoly is not only monopoly, but it is by far the greatest of monopolies. It is a perpetual monopoly, and it is the mother of all forms of monopoly." And you could go on and on. There's so many statements and quotes from some of our, what we call founding fathers, all the way, down to people that are philosophers. Just having that type of wealth, expanding your portfolio of having some type of land. Now, in my family, my grandmother actually bought some land, and some land was passed on to her, but she didn't really communicate that to us. Some of it she still has, she does nothing with, and so a lot of it she sold without us knowing. So it didn't even get to stay in the family so that we could, try to come together and buy it. I just think that it's the mentality, it's the thought process behind it of not understanding, even if you're not doing something with the land, even just to have it, you could have, just like many people became rich because oil was found on their land, or because they sold it to a company, or because the government needed to bring a highway through outside of intimate, how do you say it? Intimate domain, when if they take it. Okay. So I don't know. I just think that, we know now, we're hearing a lot about get land, invest, flip, but we definitely need to understand that we need to get a stake in this industry and, pass it down to our children and grandchildren.
Straight up.
I agree. Yeah. My grandmother, my dad's mother, purchased land. And I may have said this before women were able to buy houses and things, real estate on their own, like they weren't allowed to buy them. And so I want to say she used her dad's information and purchased houses and things like that. And I'm pretty sure we have some land in Arkansas, but if those things aren't taught, which, I know about them now, but I know parents right now who teach their kids at 4 and 5 years old the family business. They're starting early. Yep. So I wish I had, been a part of that. The other thing is, I read something a few days ago about land that's like free. It's always in these remote places, right. But here in the United States, there's land that you can basically lay claim to and not have to pay for because really nobody else wants it, or it's seen right now as not valuable. And I believe if more people knew about it, and began to snatch that land up and develop it, or, whatever, just to say, this is mine, I own it, and lay claim to it, then I think we would be in a better position. But if those programs aren't brought to the forefront, then there's no way for us to even there's no way to level the playing field as far as real estate is concerned.
You're right.
Man, I saw this, that reminds me of this movie that I saw. Man, I'm terrible with the names of these movies these days, but it was you go to prison or whatever, and prison is an actual building. Well, okay, prison is always a building, but the
Yeah, I was
facility,
about to say.
it's like a high-rise building. So it's a high-rise building, and there's a floor in the middle of the building that goes from the top floor all the way to the bottom floor
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. You're living on the perimeter of this building or whatever, you know, on the inside though. But okay, so at the very top floor is where they cook the food at and stuff like that or whatever. So
Yeah.
they put all of the food on the on this platform that goes from the top all the way to the bottom. On each level, it stays at each level for maybe like 5 minutes. So you got 5 minutes to eat your
the
food.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Exactly. And you saw that? And
It's
then it
called
goes all the
platform.
way.
Mhm.
Platform. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the name of it. So once the food gets to the bottom to the first level and stuff like that, there's nothing. There's nothing left on the table or whatever. People done peed on it and threw bottles of, you know, they didn't just drink their champagne and threw glasses, all kind of stuff on it. Whatever. So you literally have nothing once the platform gets to the bottom.
But why?
And then it goes all the way back up.
But because it's the mentality, because they didn't care about the people underneath them. If they just would have took enough for them to survive, then everybody could have enough to get out.
Everybody. Exactly. So that's the type of situation that we dealing with.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. So how have y'all felt about, anybody watched basketball this week?
Yep, I've been watching basketball all week.
You have?
So, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I've only watched clips. I just think it's hilarious to see the fake fans posted around the stadium.
Oh, you know what's interesting? What's interesting is, so you know when we talked about the kid Jonathan Isaac last week, the one that stood and didn't wear the Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second game in, he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I ain't saying.
Yeah, I don't want to say what
happened. I'm just saying, you know.
What did you hear? Also, his reasoning. His reasoning was religious, saying that, you know, that God and Jesus was gonna take care of us, and he didn't have to stand or he didn't have to kneel and put a shirt on and stuff or whatever.
I didn't hear that part, but I heard him say that he didn't think that was the way to get the point across or something, and that, you know, he still believed in the movement, but he didn't have to kneel and he didn't have to do these things and, you know, whatever. I just felt like it's straddling.
If his reasoning was God and Jesus and he has any knowledge of the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. So you're gonna say, I got faith and it's gonna be taken care of. I ain't gonna do nothing. That's directly contradictory. So sit down and shut up. That makes me angry.
He has to sit down. Boy. He does have to sit down.
But
God had his own plan.
Have a seat, sir.
Hey, what's your answer though? If you saying that that's not the answer, then what is the answer?
That's the problem that I had with his statement when he made his original statement. I didn't hear that. Maybe he expanded upon it, or maybe I just didn't get to that part. But I always have that question when people like don't support something or they are negative towards it. Well, then what's your support? Like, what do you believe? What do you think is going to help? Don't be that person that shares your opinion publicly, especially when you got a platform.
Right.
When you got a platform, don't share your opinion about why something is not good, but then have no opinion about how to make it better or what you think should be the way. Yeah. Just shut the hell up.
Right.
Yeah, come with solutions, you know, and that is the thing. It draws too much attention away from the cause. You know, it's like, this is where we are. You say that's not the solution. So is doing the same thing that we've been doing for decades the solution? You standing up, you know. So I mean, I don't know. And I will never take glory into someone's pain and him. You know, it's unfortunate that he's hurt, you know, but at the end of the day, you got to be for the cause.
Yeah. To go back.
I thought the same thing about Herman Cain when I heard he had passed due to COVID. I thought to myself, that's sad. But I wasn't sad. I wasn't sad. And it's sad that his family lost him. Yeah, I'm sure they cared about him and they loved him. And, you know, they were sad to see him perish that way or transition or however you want to call it. But am I sad? I don't think so. I'm not sad. And then if anybody, I'm not going to say he deserved it, but look at the narrative that he put out before all of this happened. And, you know, you're hanging out at a Trump rally, you know, with all these other coons. And I'm just like, what?
So
what are you doing, sir?
Why didn't his boy give him the cure? I mean, I thought they all had the cure for the
hydroxyquinone.
Where was your hydroxychloroquine? Yeah.
So I mean,
where is
that's my thing.
As far as basketball goes, though, I watched some basketball and some baseball. As far as the like, if you're just listening, it sounds just like a regular game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got that artificial crowd noise.
Like the sitcom laugh and sitcom applause.
Exactly.
That's really funny.
I just was like, there was some high scoring games. So is anybody playing defense? I didn't see all of them. Sometimes I'm cooking while the game is on and I hear my husband screaming. But I did when I look at the score.
They got some teams that's playing defense. Toronto playing defense. Pacers.
Toronto
they got
killing
some teams
right
playing.
now.
Yeah, they are. They lost last night, but I mean, other than that, they've been on the warpath.
See, man, the boys say they ain't need Kawhi, huh?
My Rockets.
Man, I'm a Rocket fan, so I love the Rockets. But
I have a love hate. But what? What are you gonna say?
They got two of the lowest IQ players on their team or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pass the ball to myself.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. You're gonna accidentally get the ball, and you're gonna pass the ball to yourself.
It's no team ball. And that's been my issue since a certain person's been on our team. But
man, it's coaching all the way down or whatever. Man, I don't like the way they play.
A fish rots from the head down.
Is that a true statement, or is that just a old saying?
I ain't never heard that one. Which
I don't know if it's the actual truth. I don't know if it's the actual true statement, but it is a phrase that's used to talk about organizations. You know, I mean, if the top is rotten, then the rest of the organization is gonna be just.
So that ain't
rotten.
your free thinking thought. You got that from somebody else.
Exactly, it's not an original thought.
I feel you.
He's not woke.
It's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, what does that mean? Like, how else?
Hey, Rob asked the question that I asked somebody that before. Like, well, how do you do it? How with the two ways?
Hey,
like,
we may not want to know that. People that skin, you know, I'm sure they know how to skin some things. Whoever came up with that, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I wanted to say this real quick in reference to what y'all saying about, you know, land and the opportunities that white people were afforded in, you know, early 1900s and just in general in life. If you are, and this is, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're a white man in America, white woman too, but particularly a white man, and I'm not talking about an immigrant. I'm not talking about a white man that's European that came like, you know, in 2000 something, like you literally, your family history is here. You were born here and you are failing in life, then you are a true failure.
Pretty much.
Like for real. Like you are a true failure in life. If you live in America and you are a descendant of this country, as far as your family history was here when the slaves came and all that, and you are not living right. I mean, you don't like have some kind of, you know, true structure or wealth, then you're a failure. You are. I mean, I work with people. I'm not gonna say work with. I know I worked with people, white women, white men who don't bring in a wealthy income, but they have assets because of their family's history. So they can do what they love or work what they want to work and do. That this is my choice to do this kind of job, but I'm taken care of financially because I drive to work in the BMW and the Mercedes, and you're like, how you drive it? How you got that? Like, you know, but it's because of what they have in their assets, what their worth is. But if you like living in America and you white and you don't have anything, you strung out on drugs. I mean, I know everybody got their problems, but it's truly your fault. Don't those are the people that fight against white privilege. They say, I had to struggle too. I had to work. Life wasn't easy for me. No, that's not what we're talking about. You had every opportunity to be great.
Yep.
The obstacles that in your life, those obstacles, you allowed them to bring you down. You probably created most of those obstacles in your damn life. You know.
I just had a free thought that I created myself. My own free thought for supposed free thinkers.
Okay,
so we're gonna call this wow. 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 Waste of whiteness.
Wow.
Capel, what made you? Why did you say that though? What made you think about that?
Because when you was talking about, because you told me about that story before, the guy that you was talking to, about, that was telling you just all his assets that he owns, and just in a general conversation, and I've made this comment before, but just not on this platform. But I've made a comment in general conversation, like the country is set up for you to succeed if you are white. In many parts of the world too. You are set up to be successful. All you got to do is play the game the right way, follow the rules. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to start steps behind. Some Black people are born into better situations, but all Black people are born behind. Mm-hmm. White people, you're born ahead of the finish line. The start line. You don't even have to start from the beginning. You are born steps ahead. Yep. And if you are not flourishing in some way, shape, or form, you need to take a hard look at yourself.
But look, why is the hatred so deep that I'm willing to hurt myself just to not see you get ahead? Because like the homie Ebony from that we went to Peabody with, she had posted that Trump was like making an argument, and I've heard this argument before by other white folks and Black Republicans, that the police have killed more white people or whatever, like throughout the years. That means that you should be just as pissed off and enraged as we are. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's the dumbest argument that you could possibly have.
What's a dumb argument? Because it's not about how many, it's about the why. Of course there's more white people, so of course they're going to be killed more, but they're not being killed because they're white. Nobody goes out and says, let me pull him over because he's white, So it could be 3 Black people that get killed by police officers. But if I can prove that those 3 got killed because of the color of their skin and they were a threat because of the color of their skin, that's what we're talking about. And I cannot stand these numbers. Look, I'm an engineer. I'm pretty good at math. And all these statistics that they try to come up with just to justify why we shouldn't be so upset, it's bullshit. And I'm like, you're not even using the right data set. So, but they bank on us being dumb and not knowing and not challenging them. I saw an interview with the president of the United States the other day. I don't know if it was on HBO. I just saw clips on the news where they were talking about COVID stats, and whoever the interviewer was said, why do you keep using this set of numbers? Like, no, this is how you read the numbers. We're not going down, we're going up. And Trump told him, oh no, you can't do that. You can't use those numbers, like literally, and he says, I can use those numbers because it's the right numbers.
That's the accurate number.
So, I just, it is what it is.
Use the day one numbers. When it was just 2 people.
So.
Damon, that line of thinking, I hate that line of thinking. And I know you're talking about President Trump, but that's a popular line of thinking. People, something bad has happened to you or people that or just say Black people, something bad happens to us. So when a white person is in the same situation and they don't suffer the way we suffer, we're like, why? That's like, why they didn't do that to them? Why they didn't? He still lives. He didn't die. And I'm taking it there because there was this video I watched where this Black lady was working for Amazon. She delivered this package to a white guy. But because she was speeding, the white guy blocked her in his driveway and called the cops. The cop came. It was a white guy. He was upset with the white guy that called him because he's like, this is ridiculous. Like, you can't do this. This is not why you call us. He took down the report and everything because he had to take a report when he got there, but not for her. It was for her to see if he can get charges pressed on him. And in the comments, and so he did what you would want a cop to do. He looked at the situation, realized that the person calling was wrong. He didn't side with that person. He even gave her the information she needed to, if she needed to press charges on the white guy, because what he did was, I forgot what he called it, but he's blocking
it. It's called not minding your own damn business, doing some extra shit.
Right.
I don't have an acronym
but in the comment section, But in the comment section, of course, it was on Black people because it was on I think Black Excellence on Instagram. So it was Black people commenting, and people were saying, "Oh, why he didn't get arrested? Why he didn't get arrested? Why he didn't get arrested? Why this?" And I'm thinking to myself, but if he gets arrested, that means the cops' mentalities are not changing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want them to treat them like us. We want them to treat us like them.
Equal.
I just had another free thought. We don't want Black Lives Better to become Black Lives. Wait, we don't want Black Lives Matter to become Black Lives Better. Yeah, that's it.
Stop it. But I mean, and I know, but the thing is like, that's not a black or white thing. That's an inbred person thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's, so I that's why I say I don't like that line of thinking when, something wrong happens and then you look at the wrong and you say, oh, well, that happens to these people too. That happens. That's not the damn point.
Not at all.
Like, it's about the action. Like, I mean, and as a president, you would think that person, which I don't think about this person at all. I'm just saying, but if you in that position, you would think that person would have that mentality, would be like, well, I mean,
I got a question. I got a question for y'all. I don't even know what we talking about today. It looked like we're going to have to save it for another show. So, Ebony, you talked about you're an engineer, and I don't want to talk about your past and stuff like that or whatever, because I don't know how comfortable you are with talking about your previous job or whatever. But as Americans, why are we giving... I'm a space head. I love space. I love reading and seeing stuff about the different planets, stars, all of that type of stuff. But why is my hard-earned money going towards space exploration? I don't want my money to go towards space exploration.
Yeah, I ain't got no answers for this. I don't know nothing enough
why
about
we
it
giving,
to give
hey,
a
bro,
decision.
We give billions of dollars. Over the years, we probably given $1 trillion to NASA.
Yeah.
And
you don't want your money to go there? You want your money to go somewhere else?
Hell no. I want us to have philosophy about space, but we don't actually need to know what's going on out there.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, when I was in high school in St. Louis, and I took this ethics course, and we had these two teachers, and they weren't housed at our school. I went to a school where it had an open campus. Anyway, these two people would come in to teach this ethics course, and the guy was like, I don't believe in a war and military, and so I don't pay that tax because I don't believe in it. And we were all like, how do you like refuse to pay a specific tax? And he said, well, this portion, of the money that I earn, I refuse to put it toward that. So I don't pay a portion of my taxes because I know it's going to that. And so then I thought about it, and then I asked him more after class one day, and he said, well, it's hard because this is something I believe, but I feel so strongly about it. So I don't own a car, because if I did, they would take my car, like they would use it to pay the taxes, because, if I own something, they're going to take it because I owe taxes. So he didn't own anything. He didn't have a car. He didn't own his own house. He took public transportation, or he got rides everywhere. When he got paid, it wasn't in like a traditional, every day I go to this job and get paid. He did odd jobs everywhere, and teaching our class was just one of those things. And I thought, what an awful way to live. Just because you don't believe in this one particular thing, what's greater for me? Do I want to have to live like that? I mean, he was a single man with no children, so I guess it didn't matter too much to him. It didn't affect his family. But I thought, man, what could I believe in so strongly that I'm going to hold back my money from this little part of these taxes, so much so that I don't want to own. I'll give up my right to own anything, because I know that if I do, they're going to come take it because I owe taxes. Yeah. And I just thought, man, he got some strong convictions. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's an option. If you don't want to pay that tax that goes towards the space, you could not
I have
pay
a
that
comment.
portion.
I have a comment on that, but I want to hear what Ebony got to say, because I feel like she got some info for us.
No, I don't. Well, a lot of taxes are embedded into other taxes, so it's very difficult to say I'm not going to be able to pay this, because you don't know what's being allocated where. He may have had something where, I don't know if anybody's heard of the straw man theory, where a lot of people, say, well, this conversation will probably have to be for another show, where taxes are really illegal, and that's why you're you're kind of sold as a bond when you get your birth certificate. That's why it's capitalized here and there. So it's a lot there. So some people have tested that theory by not paying anything, but they do get stuff. They do get assets. They just don't pay it. They stop paying, and they say that because the government already owes them based on the bond on their life that they pay nothing. So it's a big community. So but getting back to NASA, I did used to work at NASA. I worked on a contract for another company, a NASA contract. So I will say this, NASA is more than just space. It definitely, that is the focus, but it's a research center, and there's so many things that we utilize in everyday life, from medical devices, from technology that's used in mattresses, even technologies that has been used in some of our favorite tennis shoes. So the materials and things like that are all developed through research facilities at NASA. So funding definitely needs to continue to occur there. I will say I worked at NASA under the Obama administration. So when he came in, he did reallocate a lot of the money, which caused a downturn for us. So we stopped going to space, at least on American vessels. So a lot of us got laid off. I was not one of them, but because of that and because of how everything was occurring, I was switched over to oil and gas. So I can understand that for me personally, I do think that a lot of money still needs to be funneled through NASA. I just think it needs to occur in a different way. Now, in regards to the space exploration part of it, I don't know. We did all have to have certain type of security clearances. I did have a clearance, but I wasn't at that top level where I can tell you where the aliens are and all of that. But but what I can tell you is that there's so many plans for the next decades and centuries, whether to go to Mars or whether to, just different things to make sure that if we had to live in certain environments, how could we survive? What do we do? And all of that. So I don't know what plans people have for the future or why certain things are going on. We probably need everyone to have a seat at the table so that you are involved in, for whatever's going on. But I do see, like at the end of the year, I see where, I don't know, some news channels do a tax report deal, and where millions and millions of dollars I saw were allocated to even like a fish farm in the middle of Vegas, something that makes no sense. And that's where they're saying the money is going, but who knows what entity, business is under that's getting that money. So there's a lot of things our money should not be going to. If I had to choose, I would reallocate that to healthcare or something like that.
That's the money probably went to the fish farm. The money was probably one of the president's cousins or something like that or whatever. Now go ahead, Capel.
I support NASA because I heard they was working on pills that give you superpowers, like an invisibility pill, one that can make you fly. And I'm all for having some superpowers. So
well, I haven't heard that NASA one, but if they doing that, I need one too. I need a
now, but seriously though, Regina, the dude that you're talking about, I respect that. I couldn't do it for that particular cause. I'm with you. I'd have to think real hard. Is there anything that I'm willing to sacrifice that much for? And I think everybody has their points where they just say, you know what, enough is enough. Yeah. But I think that is not most people's point. But I respect it because that's a level of discipline that most people do not have. Yeah. And that's a hard way to live. And I know you use the word awful, but for him, it's probably his norm now, and he probably has a level of freedom and a level of not being stressed that most people will never ever even be able to comprehend. Probably because and so I respect like people who do things like that. I respect them because they are stronger than I am because I don't think I could do it. At least not for something that, in my opinion, is minute. Because that's a minute reason to do that, in my personal opinion. But I have a lot of respect for it because that's hard.
Yeah, it is. It was a hard. I mean, for him, definitely. He rode bikes, and in St. Louis in the winter it snowed, so he was riding his bike, and I was just like, why is he?
He was like Dumb and Dumber. He was like Dumb and Dumber when they was on the moped.
Does it have to be this hard? I mean, I had a lot of respect for him. He was an older white guy, and the other teacher who came in was a younger Black woman. So I don't know how they ended up pairing up to come teach us, you know, this ethics. I don't remember the name of the class, ethics and morality or something like that. But it was like one of my favorite classes because we were always going places and they were always showing us things and giving us different perspectives. I would never have thought I could probably not pay this particular tax. It's going to change my entire life because I don't want them to come and take what I own. So I guess I can't own anything. You know, my convictions back then weren't that strong about anything. And honestly, right now, I would have to think really hard about what I would give up my lifestyle for in order to not pay a tax that I just felt that strongly about not paying. So I wonder where he is now. I'm gonna look him up and see what he's doing.
He worked for NASA.
Probably.
That'd be crazy. He did a whole 180. That's what it is. Now, what was we supposed to be talking about anyway?
You know, so we was gonna do a Mars versus Venus. But are we gonna have enough time?
No,
I think so. We're gonna have to wait because that's gonna be a conversation.
That's what's up. What we looking like on time anyway? How much more time we got?
We don't have that much more time.
Okay.
It's probably about time to wrap it up. But I want to talk about what I got on toe. You know, so just to let the listeners know so they're aware, we gonna start doing what's on toe every other episode, kind of, you know, as a segment. We've been doing it every episode. So this segment is going to be, you know, every now and then. So for y'all sneakerheads who've been loving that segment, I want to make sure y'all know that.
Unless y'all really want it and y'all reach out and start hollering at us and let us know, hey man, we want the what's on toe every time. Then okay, we'll do it every time.
Yeah. Exactly,
maybe those sneakerheads can share what they got on toe as well.
Straight up.
Exactly. We can send a video, a picture. We'll throw that in the video. Or we give a shout out. But so last week, y'all know it was my birthday and my wife. So we've got into the habit of giving each other gift cards to places that we love to shop. Especially now that it's COVID, you know, it's kind of hard to go out and buy stuff if you're not feeling comfortable. But so she was going to give me a Nike gift card because she know I love Nikes. That's usually the shoe that I purchase. But she's like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to give you a gift card, or I'm going to give you a lot of money to spend, but you can only spend it at a Black-owned business. I was like, that. I respect that because we've been trying to do more Black-owned businesses, especially with food and stuff like that. So we did some research. I found about a good 9 or 10 places to look. And I found this shoe right here. It's a cork. Like high top, made out of like corks, and I think these are fire. I love them. Like, and it's on a website called Negash.com, Negash.com.
Yeah,
it's a Black-owned website. They got tennis shoes there. They got casual shoes. They have men and women's products.
What is that? What is that on the top? Is that a buckle?
This is a buckle. Yes, this is a buckle. Okay. A strap. So I'm get my corks. I got another pair coming in too. Okay. I'm gonna show that on another episode, but they nice as well. So I just wanted to give that. That's why I wanted to, you know, have this episode. I wanted to give a shout out to the Black-owned businesses that's doing it. So yeah,
that's what's up, man. I don't mind rocking with white-owned businesses that have shown love, that haven't shown any type of, you know, discrimination, discriminate practices and stuff like that. So I might check them out, but I'm a Nike head, and Nike showed a lot of love.
Don't misunderstand. If that was the message that I gave, I just want the viewers to know, because I don't want them to think I'm a hypocrite. I will forever wear Nikes.
Yeah, just supporting the community as well.
You know, but I'm supporting the community as well. All my dollars not gonna go to, you know, Nike and white-owned businesses from now on. I'm gonna be more conscious about spending my money in the Black community.
Spreading it out. That's what's up. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. I'm trying to. There's a few Black banks as well that I want to start. Funneling money to and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I heard a message that it's good to have about 3 or 4 bank accounts. Because, you know, if something happens and your money gets frozen up, or somebody like gets you for fraud or something like that, you know, you need to have access to money in other places. So
I agree.
I'm definitely going to look into that as well. My next account is going to be with a Black-owned bank.
Yeah, we have Unity Bank here in Houston. It's in the 3rd Ward area. So if anybody that's interested in getting with the Black-owned bank, that's what we have here in Houston.
I'm going to check them out.
Cool. Y'all got anything else?
No.
Oh no! Oh no!
What?
Y'all better have something.
What you mean something? This has been a long week for everybody.
Y'all better have something.
It has. It's been a long week. I just mean going back to work and trying to figure out what to do with my own kids and
I feel you.
my son wanting to go to band camp and just my niece trying to get to Sam Houston. I'm tired. Like I am so like I need some self-care today. So
That's what's
I
up.
hear you there. I'm with you on that one all the way, Regina.
I'm
This
self-caring
weekend, I'm
right
be
here.
at the house.
Sipping on this tequila.
That's a good idea.
Ango.
Go give me. I'm gonna go pull me something up. And
Is it too early for
I'm just
tequila?
I don't think so.
Never.
It's 5 o'clock
exactly.
somewhere.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. If your clock broke, it's 12 o'clock somewhere, maybe. Anyways, well, that's all we got. This Acoustic Chef, and we out. Y'all have a good day.
No.
Have a good day.
Wait,
Guys.
Yes.
Yes.
To our fans, or not fans, but the people that listen to the show, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Oh,
That's
don't forget
right.
to like.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to share.
Thank you for your
know what I'm
support.
saying? A lot of y'all been showing a lot of support. A lot of y'all have been sharing, and we appreciate that. Keep rocking with us. Again, DM us if you got questions or want to know, more about finances. If you want to know more about educational advancement. If you want to know more about these male and female conundrums that we have, these relationship issues.
Whatever topics you're interested in. And hey, aren't we on a new platform?
Oh yeah, we on iHeart
iHeartRadio. Yes.
And did we get another one too, Capel? I know
We're still waiting on Pandora. Pandora is in the process, but they said it may take 3 to 6 months.
What?
So, up to 6 months. Up to 6 months, not 3 to 6 months.
Well, by then we'll have so many episodes in the bank.
So but we're gonna be on Pandora soon. So yeah.
So download us on your favorite app. Check us out.
And don't forget to share, man. Acoustic Chef Podcast at gmail.com.
We out.
So this some bull.